Well, hello, Caversham. Welcome, term 4, and we're back working together again, which I think is fantastic. Today, I want you to explore an activity. Now, with the number of you, it might be worth doing this in 2 groups, and the task is a bit of a detective activity. You've got to do a bit of research. You're going to have to do some reading and some thinking, obviously, and you're going to have to come up with a story for me. You're going to have to come up with a story for me. Think of all the great stories that you know. And you probably realize that you can break your stories into completely different sections. And when you put them together, you come up with this fantastic, colourful, memorable story. Well, that's what you're going to investigate. The title of our investigation for this first week's activity is The Man Who Never Was. True story. 100% dead set true. What I have done, and you can see on this mind map, is give you sections of the story. I haven't given you exactly what this story is about, but I've given you elements of it. But it can't be that easy. I've also thrown in a red herring. Now, make sure you ask me in our first week when we chat together live where that word came from. But a red herring is a false clue. One of those clues on this mind map has nothing to do with the overall story, but the others come together to tell a true story that took place 60, 70 years ago. Now, it is a fascinating tale. What I want you to do is to print out the mind map, which is on your OneNote on our Hale21 team site, and I want you to put down some key points about each one of these headings. What is MI5? Operation Mincemeat, George Hackenschmidt, translate that wonderful phrase in Latin, Captain Bill Jewell, HMS Seraph, Leverton and Sons, St Pancras, London, and St John, Jock Horsefall. And I want you to put 4 or 5 pieces of information that you discover about each one of those subheadings, and I think ideally on the back of that page, a photograph that's relevant to each of them. And then identify clearly the red herring and be able to tell me what The Man Who Never Was all about. So if you can work in 2 groups, have a chat to Mrs. Gillies about that, that'll be fantastic. So when we start work on Friday, week 1, that's what we're going to start with. Each group's going to present their findings on The Man Who Never Was. I'm looking forward to it, guys. We've got 4 or 5 weeks of term 4 already, but we've got some fantastic work to do, and Watheroo Primary School are joining us in a couple of weeks as well. So good to see you, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday of week 1 and finding all about The Man Who Never Was.